Neighbors know this shit get out of hand, but they smile, cause you've been so long without a man. And it won't be long till you're out of bands. The only thing you really need is a husband. The only thing you really need is a husband. The only thought you ever need is I trust him. All your dreams, all your goals, it's promised with this ring I have in my hands. The main thing a nigga got is these plans. Got a plan for us, got a plan to grow, got a plan for homes, got a plan for bad times, got a plan for good times, got a plan for hood times, got a plan for hood crimes, got a plan for trust, got a plan for lust, got a plan for Beverly Hills. You know that's where they at. You know that's where they at. Beverly Hills. You know that's where they at. I don't really wanna go back to that. If I do, I know I'm going back to back. Breaking backs to backs. Imagine that, that's so hazardous, so I handle that. All you really need is a husband. Show you loving. Let him touch you, let him rub you, let him hug you, let him thug you, let him hold you down. All you need is a husband who gon' touch you, who gon' rub you, who gon' hug you, who gon' kiss you, who gon' miss you with no issue, with no issue, and no issue. Neighbors know this shit get out of hand, but they smile, cause you've been so long without a man. And it won't be long till you're out of bands. The only thing you really need is a husband. The only thing you really need is a husband. The only thought you ever need is I trust him. All your dreams, all your goals, it's promised with this ring I have in my hands. The main thing a nigga got is these plans. Got a plan for us, got a plan to grow, got a plan for homes, got a plan for bad times, got a plan for good times, got a plan for hood times, got a plan for hood crimes, got a plan for trust, got a plan for lust, got a plan for Beverly Hills. You know that's where they at. You know that's where they at. Beverly Hills. You know that's where they at. I don't really wanna go back to that. If I do, I know I'm going back to back. Breaking backs to backs. Imagine that, that's so hazardous, so I handle that. All you really need is a husband. Show you loving. Let him touch you, let him rub you, let him hug you, let him thug you, let him hold you down. All you need is a husband who gon' touch you, who gon' rub you, who gon' hug you, who gon' kiss you, who gon' miss you with no issue, with no issue, and no issue.
Okay, all right. So I really do want to talk about this first. So this is only because, and let's actually go here. So this right here, this is because of Juju Watkins. Juju Watkins will be playing for the Houston Comets next season. It's a race to the bottom. Now, I do want to say this. I personally believe that the Houston Rockets owner and some of the powers that be reached out to Jennifer Rosati, to Morgan Tuck, maybe even did a little something for Rashid Mezion, and they're totally, completely tanking. They've been tanking for like flat out blatant tanking for about a month and a half right now, that it was just clear. So obviously moving on from Anissa Morrow, 100% clear tank. And so I just wanted to highlight that. But this is all because of the interstate battle between these two teams, which would be the Dallas Wings and the Houston Comets. Juju Watkins will be a Houston Comet. Somehow, unless Seattle finds a way to completely tank, and it's not even close, the Houston Comets will have Juju Watkins. Period. Simple. And so that's all that this is. This is all about that. Now, they were going to eventually move there. Okay, they weren't necessarily sure because the games would only normally be packed if like Caitlin Clark was coming into town. It's not packed for really other teams. I mean, yeah, you might get one or two games like that, but they're confident that this is just going to be the norm. Let's get this out of the way right now. Let's go to American Airlines Arena. Juju Watkins will be with the Houston Comets. We got Paige and AZ. This will be a robust, extreme free agency, just like we just saw this past free agency. This one right here is going to be amazing as well. And so they figure this is great. Let's do this right now. American Airlines Arena. Let's get this out of the way. This is full time. This is the way it's going to be. And it makes sense because Juju Watkins will be in the state of Texas. And this is going to be huge. The games between the Dallas Wings and the Houston Comets are going to be some epic games for ratings and for attendance at where the Rockets play and at American Airlines. And that's just the way it's going to be, y'all. This was all about Juju Watkins, period. End of discussion. And there's no way you can convince me that the powers that be, along with the Houston Rockets owner, who now is the owner of the Houston Comets, you can't ever convince me that they didn't throw a little something behind the scenes to Jen Rosati and to Morgan Tuck to just blow this thing up, to make sure that Connecticut would get that pick. And I believe, yeah, if I'm not mistaken, Connecticut will end up getting that first pick. I just don't believe it's going to be Seattle. I think Seattle was too talented. Now, unless Sonya is going to find a way to finagle her way to the very last spot, that's the only thing that would make sense to me. But I still don't think they would get enough lottery balls. The only reason why I say that is because you have to combine both years, and I believe that's the way it goes. And Seattle was just recently good last season. They're terrible this season. They were good last season. So I don't think they would get enough lottery balls the way Connecticut would. Connecticut was bad last season. They're bad this season. And so, yeah, that's the way that's looking to me. Connecticut will obviously have the most. And so just prepare to see Juju Watkins in a Houston Comets uniform. So that's the way it's looking to me. Maybe I should research that a little bit more. I might be off on it, on how a lot of that, the process, how all of that goes. But to me, it's looking like Juju Watkins would be wearing a Houston Comets uniform. And yeah, it just makes sense. So that's why this is favorable. That's why this was necessary to do this. And it totally makes sense. Can you guys imagine? I just want you guys to picture 2027 season. The Houston Comets are going into American Airlines Arena facing Paige Beckers and AZ Fudd. That is going to be epic. That is going to be absolutely epic. And then can you imagine the Dallas Wings going into, I don't know where the Rockets play at because I don't watch the NBA, but going into that arena, playing against Juju Watkins and the Houston Comets brought back from the dead with Cynthia Cooper and Cheryl Swoops and Tina Thompson and all of the legends in attendance, that is going to be amazing. I don't know if, and trust me, that game will listen, the networks are going to fight for those games. So just know that NBC is going to be out for blood. Just know that ABC will be out for blood. It doesn't matter with ESPN because ESPN is ABC. So I think ABC might want it more than ESPN. It just depends. I don't think, So anyway, whatever Disney decides to do, because Disney obviously controls ESPN and ABC. So whatever they decide to do with it, it's either going to be on ESPN or ABC. It is what it is. But trust me, it's not that Houston playing at American Airlines. That's not what this is about. This is about the Rockets. The Comets. That's what this is all about. This is 1000% about that home opener at the Rockets Center, wherever they play at. Okay, that's what this is all about. This has literally nothing else to do with playing at Dallas or just anything like that. So I just wanted to make that clear that you will most definitely see or hear about this bidding war of NBC and CBS and Jeff Bezos with Amazon Prime Video. There's no way that they give this to Scripps. Like, the home opener for the Houston Comets Friday night, 7:30 on Ion. I just don't believe Scripps. That's just not going to happen. That's not going to happen. I just don't believe that. Hold on, you guys, real quick. Let me check something out real quick. All right. Yeah, so like I said, I don't think that Ion is going to get that game. I just don't believe it. There's no way you could convince me that Ion Scripps is going to outbid Jeff Bezos. There's no way you could convince me that Scripps is going to outbid Donald Trump's best friend who runs Paramount, CBS, Showtime. There's no way you could convince me that Scripps is going to outbid Disney. I'll never believe it. And then there's no way you can convince me that Scripps will outbid Universal NBC. I'll never believe it. I'll never believe it. If Ion gets that home opener for the Houston Comets, I want to know all about Scripps. I got to dig deeper into Scripps because where are you getting this money from that you beat out Jeff Bezos and Amazon Prime Video? I need to find this out. What's going on with Scripps and Ion? So just trust me. I personally believe that this will be the most watched WNBA game in history. In history, the home opener of the Houston Comets with free agency going to be what it will be, this upcoming free agency, and Juju Watkins. I'll be interested to know who's going to be the coach. Is it going to be Cynthia Cooper? Is Coop going to coach? Will it be Cheryl Swoops? I want to know. All three of them have, obviously, they've coached before, so they got coaching experience. Tina Thompson in the ACC, and you also had Cheryl Swoops, controversial with Loyola, and then obviously Cynthia Cooper, also controversial at her stops. So I don't know if that's what they would do. We know that we want Black women to coach in this league again. So I think that they might decide to it might be best to go with Tina Thompson because she didn't have the controversy that Cynthia Cooper had and that Cheryl Swoops had. So it might be best to go with Tina Thompson. Even though Tina Thompson was terrible, it might be best to go with Tina Thompson. We'll see where that goes. But just know this. Houston Comets. Now, please, I hope they don't do this. I hope they don't make the Houston Comets home opener against the Indiana Fever. Come on, like, don't do that. Because there's no rivalry. There's no true history there. Okay? If anything, you can make an argument that the Detroit Shock playing against the Houston Comets. Okay, but no, this is what it has to be. The home opener has to be Dallas Wings at Houston Comets. Dallas Wings at Houston Comets. That has to be the home opener, the first game of the year. The schedule makers, they need to make sure that very first game of the season, the marquee matchup is Dallas Wings at Houston Comets. That has to happen, or you failed. You failed. You've completely failed. And I personally believe that will be the most watched WNBA game, at least for a regular season game. That's what I believe. Okay, I firmly believe that. Juju, Watkins, and I got to see what these new Houston Comets uniforms are going to look like. And then they're going to do the retros. They probably have a retro game or something, or maybe a few of them. Maybe they'll make the retros the Rebels. I don't know. But I got to see it. Juju with her little bun and a Houston Comp, man, and then Juju, she's going to love it because there's no state taxes in Texas. So Juju just get all of this money. Right? I know she might want to play in LA, but LA state taxes is out of this world and the cost of living is out of this world. Man, Juju, oh my gosh, I don't think these people understand what is about to happen in Texas with Dallas and Houston. I don't think people like, this is where it is. This is where it all is right here. And I think if you check the temperature, the pulse, I think free agents are going to try to make their way to both of these teams. Okay, that's what I believe. You're safe in Dallas because Paige Beckers isn't going to ball hog. And then AZ Fudd is going to play her role, and she's lethal. She's dangerous. She's an elite two-way player. Paige Beckers is obviously filling out to truly being just a more all-around true player, right? Just solidifying that role. She's going to get better. She just has to just stay more confident and more ruthless. We need Paige Beckers to be ruthless. And right now she's not ruthless. So that's the next step, making sure she's ruthless. And once she does that, I mean, it's just all over with. I don't know if they keep Enrique next season. But what I can tell you is that this is where it is. Okay, this is the universe. It's in Texas. The universe of women's professional basketball in the United States of America will be in Texas. Period. 100% will be in Texas. That's where it's all going. Why wouldn't you want to play in Texas? Now that you got the Comets and obviously the Dallas Wings are what they are and they're only going to get better, and that there's no state taxes. Now, the only thing that could sort of scare some players off is potentially MAGA, red state, immigration, all racism, those things like that. But there's no way that you make that type of investment, obviously, if you're not going to keep these players protected. So, I mean, if you're not trying to bring on a bunch of socially active members to your team like Breonna Turner, I don't think you, or Natasha Cloud, you don't really have any concerns. Okay, that's what I believe. Long as you keep Natasha Cloud and Breonna Turner off of your team, I think you're great. Those are the two players you don't want on your team. So just keep Natasha Cloud off of your team, keep Breonna Turner off of your team, and I think you're great. I don't think you'll have any concerns. These women want to make as much money as they can. You have to go to Texas to do that. Okay, period. And then it's great. If you got money, Houston is elite. If you have money, Dallas is elite. If you don't have money, it's a problem. It's like Chicago. Chicago is for people with money. If you don't have money, don't move to Chicago because you're going to be in a bad neighborhood. Okay, so that's how I see Houston and Dallas. Houston, there's so much stuff to do in Houston. On top of if you like other sports leagues in certain teams. So you got the Astros, you got the Houston Rockets, okay, you got the Houston Texans, and I think they have, I don't know if they have a hockey team, but Houston is fine. Houston is just fine. On top of the college teams. And then there's Dallas. Okay. So you're perfectly fine in Texas. That's the universe right now. The WNBA, where it all begins and ends in Texas come next season. Point blank, full stop, end of. Texas is where the hub is. Texas is ground zero. Texas is Mecca. Okay, that's the universe right there, Texas, period, end of. It's not even close. So what I don't want the networks to do is to say, hey, for the very first game of the WNBA's regular season, let's make the Houston Comets play Caitlin Clark in the Indiana Fever. No, don't do that. No, don't do that. The very first game. And I hope they don't do this stupid New York Liberty stuff. No, okay, so let me just get this out of the way. We just went through the 30th anniversary, all of that. Now, officially, next season will be the true 30th anniversary because that's when the season began in 1997, right? Officially, right? You start hooping in 97. You officially got the WNBA in 96, but technically, 1997 is when everything tipped off. That's when these women started to hoop, right? So maybe that's what they're going to go with this thing. Well, in 1997, that's when we tipped everything off. So technically, in terms of playing basketball, this is truly our 30th season. So because of that, we're going to go retro all over again. And we're going to have the Houston Comets first game to be between the New York Liberty. No, we don't want to see that. I want to see that. The very first game of the regular season. Or the Houston Comets against the LA Sparks. Or the Phoenix Mercury. We don't want to see that. The very first game should be Houston Comets and Dallas Wings. End of discussion. That should be the main primetime marquee matchup. I don't care if it's on ABC. I don't think it should be on ESPN. It should be on ABC to where as many people as possible can watch it. Put that game on ABC. Put that game on NBC. Put that game on CBS. Don't put that thing on Amazon Prime. I love what they do with their studio show and all of that. Don't dump it on Amazon Prime because everyone doesn't have Amazon Prime. Okay, so don't bury that on Amazon Prime. Don't do that. Don't put it on Ion, right? Because Ion only broadcasts their games in 720p. Not even 720p, 60 frames per second. It's just a flat out base 720p. I got love for Ion. But Ion is airing their games in 720p, not even 720p, 60 frames. Like, that's some prehistoric stuff right there. So don't mess with Ion for that game. Not that game. Okay? That game needs just major treatment. ABC, NBC, CBS. Period. Maybe ESPN, but that's as far as it goes. Don't throw that thing on USA Network. I got love for USA Network, but don't put that thing on USA Network. That thing needs to be OTA. End of discussion. So that's why this is a great move, man. Listen, Juju. Oh my gosh, y'all. Yo, when I saw this, I was like, this is all about Texas, the freaking rivalry between both teams. You understand? And so that's what I saw. And this is going to be this way for years to come. For years to come. Seasons to come. Okay, this interstate rivalry between the Dallas Wings and the Houston Comets. Oh my gosh, man. This is so serious. So I was so happy to see this, man. So yeah, the Dallas Wings are officially moving into the next era with AA Center. And so, yeah, I'm just super excited about this, man. Like, this is huge. This is major, man. This is major. And AZ Fudd is showing that. outside of Olivia Miles that, you know what, I don't think you could really argue about her being the number one overall pick. Okay, outside of what Olivia Miles is doing, she just started off slow. Olivia just off the porch, just immediately out the freaking building, start dominating from day one. It took AZ a little bit to warm up. But I don't think at this point you could really argue with AZ being the number one pick because she's totally a two-way player. This chick locking bigs down. This chick literally locking bigs down. Okay, so on top of just what she's doing on offense, like there's no way you could ever leave her open. Period. I don't give a damn. Transition, trail three, screen threes, off dribble threes. Her release is so quick. It just doesn't any sliver of freaking daylight. Okay, she busting it and it's probably gonna go in. So that's why I made that video earlier this season telling y'all that if it made sense to the Wings, then that's all that matters. All that matters is that it makes sense to the Dallas Wings. That's it. And it made sense to them. And I could totally understand it. That's a dangerous threat. That's poisonous right there. That chick is poison on that court in a good way, a positive connotation. And so, but would I have taken Olivia Miles? Absolutely. With the number one pick, 1,000%, I would have taken Olivia Miles. But what they wanted was for Paige Beckers to run the point. That's how they saw it. We got Paige running the point. We got Enrique at the 2 guard. Okay, they didn't think that at some point, or maybe they thought, well, we can even have AZ running the 3 because she's 6 feet. So we can have AZ at the 3. She's an elite defender. Enrique at the 2, Paige at the 1. Once AZ gets comfortable being a combo guard, if you will, we can move her probably to the 1 at times in certain games and have her initiate the offense and put Paige at the 3, whatever. Like in their minds, this is how they saw it. But for them, it just made sense. So I'm not mad at what the Dallas Wings did. I would have taken Olivia. I just felt that they didn't need Olivia because of Paige was going to run the point. And that's how they saw it, and that's why they went with AZ Fudd. But you can't argue Minnesota. She fits Minnesota perfectly. Right now, you can't see Olivia anywhere else but in Minnesota. It's a perfect fit. It's like Maya Moore. It's a perfect fit. You can't see Maya Moore playing in any other uniform except a Lynx uniform. So that's how I see Olivia. I just can't see her. Maybe with the Sky. I thought she was going to go to the Sky at some point, but I just can't see Olivia in any other uniform except a Lynx uniform. And so with Dallas, this is perfect for Dallas. It's perfect for Minnesota. It is what it is, okay? Now, let's move off of that. And I want to go here. I want to go to Kelsey Plum. Kelsey Plum, please. I want to do this. So, well, this is new. I texted her and she responded, "See you on Monday. Anytime you have the opportunity at a player like KP, you do it." Okay, well, let's just stick with this, right? So we know, let's just go here. Let's stick with this. So we know that Kelsey Plum is officially gone from the LA Sparks, okay? And so that's a good thing. She'll be playing with the Mercury. Now, here's the thing. The Mercury play the Washington Mystics 3 times coming up. They got 3 games against the Mystics. So actually, maybe this isn't good. Let's go here so we could look at the standings. So the Mercury, you see the Mystics 16 and 12. The Mercury are 11 and 19. They feel that they can catch the Washington Mystics. They don't believe that New York is just going to continue to be bad. They believe New York is going to creep back into that fifth or sixth seed. That's how they see New York. Once they get Satu Sabli and Leone Thebes back, New York might even sneak up in that 4th spot. That's how they see New York. They don't believe Washington will ever be in the top 5, right? They think Washington is going to hover around 7 or 8. That's how they see Washington. And so they feel that they can catch Washington. They got 3 games coming up against Washington, which is why they did the deal to get Kelsey Plum, because they feel that Kelsey Plum is all they need to give them an edge over Washington. I'm going to break down Washington and tell you why that Nate Tibbetts, he might be pushing it. He could be risking it. That might be a bad idea. But let's just go to schedule. Okay, let's go to schedule. So we're looking for Phoenix Mercury and the Washington Mystics. So I want to know, when exactly do they play? Here it is. So they play Sunday, August the 9th. That's the first of the 3. Okay, and that's Rivals Week. Boom. Kelsey Plum will be playing that game. They feel that they're going to get these 3 wins against Washington. This is what they believe. And if they do that, they believe that they're going to eventually take that 7th spot, or at least it's going to get them to 8th. That's how they see it. They're trying to catch Washington, and Kelsey Plum is the key to do that. Even if it's for a rental, she's the key to do that. Okay. So there's August the 9th on Sunday, the second meeting between those teams. Okay. Jesus. Y'all better start playing each other. Phoenix. Where you at, Phoenix? I wish they would just would have let me go to Phoenix schedule so I don't have to do all of this. Where's Phoenix at? How do I do that? Let me go to teams. Let me just look at their schedule, if I can do that. Yeah, let's go to view all games. Let's just start out with the 9th, because that's their first matchup with them, is the 9th. Where's that at? August, Saturday. Okay, boom. So that's the first one, August the 9th. All we need to do is search. No, what are you doing? What are you doing? This Wnba app is so terrible. I go to the Mercury. Like this is crazy to me, y'all. How come I just can't pull up the Mercury schedule? Like why does it have to be this? Like, I should be able to go to the Mercury and you should see Mercury schedule. I should be able to press that and all I see are the games the Mercury play. Like, this is sick. So now I got to go ask Grok. I got to go freaking ask Grok. Give me the remainder of the Phoenix Mercury's schedule this season. Jesus, Wnba app. Y'all got the nerve to be promoting that app on all of these ESPN games and WNBA ID. That app is garbage. Absolute garbage, man. Okay, let's just get past the 9th. Let's just look for the Mystics. Okay, August the 25th. They play the Mystics, and then August the 27th. Wow. Those are some late games too, 10 p.m. for both of those games. August the 25th and August the 27th. So August the 9th, and then August the 25th, and then August the 27th. Okay, so if we look at the games leading up to that, they play Chicago. Chicago is now on a 2-game winning streak. Sydney Taylor is making an argument for Rookie of the Year. She's not going to get it unless she gets Chicago into the playoffs. That still won't happen. That's going to Olivia Miles, and Olivia Miles might be the first since Candace Parker to win MVP and Rookie of the Year in the same season, right? That's going to Olivia Miles, period. But listen, she still is going to be obviously in this league for a really long time. If she stays healthy, she'll be in the running for Rookie of the Year, okay? So that could be a dangerous game because they have Dejanay Carrington back. And Dejanay is getting comfortable. These last 2 games, she's looking more and more comfortable, okay? So that's a lockdown defender, and she's also a dangerous slasher. She's dangerous in transition, Okay, and she got a sneaky shot. She got just when you think she can't shoot, she'll hit it. So, and then Azura will be back. And so now they essentially got all of their pieces except for Skylar Diggins. You're not getting Rakia back, but you essentially got all of your pieces except for Skylar. Maybe Skylar comes back soon. We'll see where that goes. That's not going to be an easy win because Chicago is confident and Chicago feel that they can get that 8th seed. Okay, Chicago isn't. So let's go to standings real quick. So as you can see, where's Chicago at? They're 10th. They're above Phoenix. And so Chicago is like, wait a second, we can catch Washington too. They don't ever believe that they're going to catch New York. You can't tell them that, but no one truly believes that New York is going to stay 8th. They don't believe that. People believe New York is going to be 4, 5, 6, if anything. So you're just looking at 7 and 8, and Chicago feels that they can get that 7th or 8th spot. So they're also chasing Washington, okay, or just trying to get that 8th spot, trying to make sure that they can get past the Sparks as well. So this isn't going to be an easy win. Why? Because Chicago blew everything up and acquired all of this talent because they wanted to win a championship this year. Chicago was trying to go win a championship this year like the LA Sparks. What LA Sparks said that they wanted to get to the semifinals. That's what they wanted. They wanted to get to the semifinals this year. That's why they did what they did. Chicago wanted to win a championship, period. End of. They didn't know who would be there next year in terms of front office or anything. And they was listen, Tyler Marsh doesn't know if he's going to be around next season, and they saw it and it wasn't looking too good for them. And they said, if we're going to go out, let's go out a champion. And that's why they did what they did. Okay, let's go out swinging. And that's why they did what they did. So I'm not so sure that Phoenix is going to beat Chicago. Listen, Sydney is comfortable. DeJounte looks really good. Okay, everyone looks pretty solid to me. Camila Cardoso the other night scored 18 points in like the fourth quarter. So, I mean, Chicago is looking pretty solid to me right now. 2 wins in a row. Let's get Azura back. Let's eventually get Skylar back, and it's all over with for these teams. So I'm not so sure about that. But they got to find a way to get Chicago. This is rough. Atlanta. Now, maybe they feel Kelsey Plum. There's no one on Atlanta who can guard Kelsey Plum. Now, you can make an argument that DeJounte can guard Kelsey Plum, but you can't say that anyone on Atlanta can guard Kelsey Plum. You could throw Jordan Canada on her, but Kelsey Plum always cooked Jordan Canada. Jordan is a nice defender, but Kelsey cooks Jordan Canada. So I don't know about that. So maybe they feel like we can get, maybe Phoenix feel like we can get Atlanta because they have no answer for Kelsey Plum. Okay, so that makes sense. Obviously, they'll beat Connecticut. It's sad to say that, but they're going to beat Connecticut. Okay, so do I think that they'll beat Atlanta? I don't know, but I think Kelsey Plum gives them a great shot. So let's just say they beat Atlanta. Maybe they beat Chicago. This is potentially 3 wins here. Okay, they're only down 5 games. They're only 5 games back from Washington. They may never catch Washington, and I'll explain why. Now, this is the major matchup right here. The 9th, the first meeting. Why is this so important? Because Washington, they are running their offense inside out. Okay? And we heard from Shakira Austin that they go inside out. They're running it through Shakira, Kiki, and whenever they put in Lauren Betts. That's how this thing is going to go. And that's why they found so much success, okay? Well, Phoenix, they don't have anyone on their team who can stop the bigs from Washington. So what this is that Washington is running the football, okay? And they're playing play action. Washington, they're giving body blows. And then at some point, you got to protect your body, and that's when they hit you with headshots. Okay, so that's literally what Washington is doing. Now, let me explain it to you this way. The WNBA has turned into a transition perimeter league, a finesse league. Meaning what? Most teams in the WNBA, their personnel fits that. So they don't have traditional standard quality bigs that you would normally see. Interior presence for defense and obviously offense, because they prioritize perimeter transition, high pace basketball. Okay. But that benefits Washington because Washington can exploit those weaknesses. They can take advantage of those weaknesses by attacking your weakness. Your weakness is the interior. Why do you have a weak interior? Because you prioritize transition, fast-paced three-point shooting. And so if you have a big, the big is normally a stretch big that really isn't all that good with interior post defense. Okay? And so it's just like the football, the NFL. That's why the NFL, they've now gone back to running the football like I told you guys they would. Years ago, I said it's going to go back to running the football. So what has the NFL done the last 2 years? They prioritize running the football and bringing back traditional run blocking tight ends with some catching ability. So they're going more physical. That's why the Jaguars took with their top pick in the second round, the tight end from Texas A&M. He's a physical run blocking tight end who's deceptive with his hands, okay, in terms of catching. All of these teams are doing it now. That's where it's going, running the football, y'all. If you notice, their offensive linemen are now physical offensive linemen, run blocking offensive linemen. If you notice, teams are bringing back the fullback. If you notice, teams are drafting traditional linebackers where these linebackers are 6'4", 250, 6'4", 255, 6'3", 248. No more of these 6'2", 6'3", 225-pound linebackers or 230-pound. These guys are in the 250s and the 260s. The old school linebackers, these run-stopping linebackers, because we just saw the Seattle Seahawks win the Super Bowl primarily running the football. Yes, they obviously got an elite wide receiver, but it all starts with the run, y'all. So if you looked at this NFL's draft, teams prioritize heavy jumbo linebackers, big run-stopping defensive linemen, and teams prioritize tight ends, run blocking tight ends, run blocking offensive linemen. They're getting more physical. You would say, well, why is the NFL going that route? Well, because most teams in the NFL went finesse. The NFL turned to a pass-heavy league, a perimeter league. That's what it turned into. And so you saw safeties playing linebacker. Very skinny defensive ends, a bunch of Aaron Donalds playing defensive tackle. Okay, and that's what happened. And so what teams figured is that all we have to do is run the football at them and we can just gash them and beat them with play action. And so now that's what happens. So the NFL is adjusting and they're going back to running the football. But it's also for financial purposes too, salary cap purposes, okay? The glory position in football used to be the running back. That was the Hollywood position. Running backs are extremely affordable. Running backs, fullbacks, right tackles, right guards, they're really affordable. Run blocking tight ends, really affordable. Okay, so if we prioritize the run and we just get a game manager for a quarterback that don't really cost us a lot of money, we can be able to keep a lot of talented players on our team that we normally couldn't afford to keep because we're paying this quarterback $300 million guaranteed, okay? And so that's where this is going, y'all. So that's why the Seattle Seahawks won a Super Bowl, period. Now, let's take this thing to boxing. As a boxer, what do? Okay, a smart, intelligent, scientific boxer, they're going to attack weaknesses. You're going to watch other fights, okay? You're going to watch sparring sessions of your opponent, and you're going to see how your opponent can handle certain body shots, okay? how they can handle certain body shots, how are their stamina after being unloaded in the first 2-3 rounds with body shots, how are they in the 5th, 6th round? Okay, are they covering up a lot more? How are their reflexes? These things like that. And so you start connecting with body shots, and then your opponent starts to protect the body, and that's when you go with headshots. On top of the stamina is hurting them too. And that's when you go to these headshots, and then boom, you get you a TKO, you get you a knockout, right? You win by points or whatever like that. That's how it is. Well, that's what so in football, you run the football, and it forces the defense to stack the box. They put 8 defenders in the box up close to stop the run. So that leaves defenses open. They're more susceptible to perimeter passes, deep shots. So what happens? You pretend, here's the quarterback, blue 42, Omaha. You hike it. The quarterback pretends to put the football into the gut of the running back. The defense collapse. They believe that this running back is going to run the football because that's what you've been doing so successfully. So they just all collapse to stop the running back, and you pull that football out. The running back is still pretending like he has the football. They collapse the running back. You pull the football out, and then you look and you take a deep shot, an intermediate or a deep shot wide open, because everyone thought that you were going to run the football. Next thing you know, here's a touchdown, or you gashed them for 40 yards because they fell for the play action. And then at this point, we can start messing with some RPOs, and you can really throw them off, right? But that's what it is. So what the Mystics are doing, this is why Sidney Johnson, Ivy League coach, I broke him down for you guys last year, highly intelligent, a wise coach, very smart coach. You can have issues with him not playing Rory Harmon and Lucy Olsen, that's fair, but he's a wise coach. So what he said was that all of these teams are going finesse. They're all going finesse. All pace and space, transition threes, and the makeup of their roster shows that. Why don't we do what the NFL is doing? Why don't we do what professional boxers do? Let's run the damn football. Let's attack the interior. Let's hit them with body shots. They don't have anyone who can protect them. And so the Mystics, that's why you heard Shakira and Kiki right in front of Sonya Citron face say, they asked them about their team, their offense. Oh, it runs inside out. It starts with the bigs. Okay? And so like, that's what that was. And so that's why they're gashing these teams, because you don't have an interior presence to stop them. And if you do, your interior presence kind of light and not really all that good with post defense. Okay, especially if they're not studying tendencies. One thing I noticed about Michaela Timpson is a terrible defender, but she's been getting better because she's been studying tendencies. If you're not a good defender, you have to study tendencies. Meaning what? Most good defenders, and if they don't study tendencies, they have great hips, loose, quick hips. Right? They're agile. They have really great lateral movement. Okay. They're really good with recovery. They have really good balance. They understand leverage. All of these things, like they can move their feet really well. Okay. Weak defenders, they normally don't have that. Like Michaela Timpson can jump really high. She's athletic, but that's not all the athleticism is. Okay. And so her hips aren't as loose and her feet aren't as quick. Her lateral movement and recovery isn't all that quick. So if you lack those things, what can get you over the top is studying tendencies. So that's what I've been noticing from Michaela Timpson. She's clearly been watching film and she's been studying tendencies, and that'll help you out along the way. Okay. So what I'm telling you is this, is that the WNBA, they don't have traditional bigs. They just don't. They don't have traditional bigs. The only one you can really point to, I'm not speaking about Washington. You can go to Connecticut. You can talk about Reagan Beers. Let's go, because I'm going to show you. But they just don't have enough. Olivia Miles is too light in the frame. Why? Because she's a model. She has her own fashion clothing line, and she's a model in the off season. So she doesn't want to gain weight. You can just push her around. She's a really good player, but she doesn't want to gain weight. So watch this. Let's go to teams, and I'll show you. That's why I'm telling you why the Mystics may never lose that 7th seed. They might move up to the 6th seed because there is no team in the WNBA who can stop the run, stop the interior. They're not built that way because everyone's sold out for this Golden State Warriors NBA brand of basketball, and you don't have any paint protectors. So you can check Golden State, but Golden State, all they really have is Reagan Beers, and that's it. And BG, but BG doesn't want to hoop. She stole money from them. She robbed them of all of that money. She doesn't want to hoop. That's why I'm not mentioning BG, because she's rarely available. Okay? Now, it makes sense, for them to get Rhea Marshall. That's good, but they're done. So let's move on from them. That's really the only team where you could say, I don't know, Reagan Beers, BG, but BG is just unavailable. So you go to the Chicago Sky, they have Camila Cardoso and Elizabeth Williams and Azra Stevens. Azra Stevens not girthy, but at least they have her. So where's Camila at? Yeah, there she is. So yeah, Chicago is so balanced. They can beat you on the inside. They can beat you in transition. They can hang with you on defense now that they're figuring everything out, right? They can get you on the perimeter. They can slash. They got mid-range shooters. And so Chicago is nice. That's another team right there. That's another team right there. Atlanta, they don't really have, Bree Jones is only 6'2", 6'3". She's girthy, but she's what, 6'2", 6'3"? Medina Okot, that's a good one, 6'6". And Angel Reese is a killer on the boards, but they still don't have anyone for Washington. Washington is just loaded. They just don't have anyone for Washington. But I'm okay with Medina. I'm okay with a 6'2", 6'3" Bree Jones. And, Angel Reese isn't some great interior defender. What she is a good perimeter defender. Okay, she's a good help side defender, and she's going to get you a lot of rebounds. But in terms of, you bodying Angel up with a big, she's not going to do anything with him. Okay, let's move on. The Fever, all they have is Aaliyah Boston. That's it. Michaela Timpson isn't a good defender. She's been getting better with certain tendencies of certain players, but that's not, she's a woman who can jump really high, can block some shots. But that doesn't mean you're a good defender. That doesn't mean you're a good interior defender or a good perimeter defender. Okay? And so that's what that is. So she can jump high and block shots, but that doesn't mean she's just an overall good defender because she can block shots. Okay? So I wanted to make that clear. It's like Asia Wilson can't defend certain bigs, and Asia Wilson can't guard on the perimeter, but she's Defensive Player of the Year. Nafisa is different. Nafisa can guard on the interior and on the perimeter, okay, because Nafisa understands tendencies and she's just a really high IQ defender, right? But Nafisa still couldn't handle Camilla, right? So I wanted to make that clear. So the Fever, they don't have anyone. So you can blow up the Fever if you're the Mystics, if you just keep attacking the interior and the referees call a balanced, even, fair game, the Mystics would beat the Fever because they don't have anyone who can guard any of those bigs, okay? Now, New York, they have Han Shu, but Han Shu is super light. She's 6'11", she's light. Jonquel Jones, she's not a great interior defender. She'll hold her own with you, but that's not how that is. So really, all they have is like Han Shu and Jonquel, but you could sort of bully Han Shu, and you could push around Jonquel because Jonquel get lazy on defense. She was that way at Connecticut. Okay, now, yeah, I know she won a lot of awards, but Jonquel, if you know anything about Jonquel, she will take her foot off the gas. So you can have your way with her every now and again. So they really don't have that. This is more finesse. Leonie Feber, 6'4", finesse. Jonquel Jones, perimeter, 6'6", finesse. Han Shu, perimeter, mid-range, finesse. Bree Stewie, mid-range, slasher, will shoot on the perimeter, a little finesse, but she will block shots. Satu Sabli, finesse. Okay, so you can see their bigs are mainly finesse bigs. right? Nothing traditional about them. And then, like I say, you go to Toronto, they don't have anyone. Niara Sabali always getting injured. Tione Key, super young, light. Izzy, light, always getting injured. Okay, Anissa can't guard big. She's too short, 6 feet, 6'1". That's not going to happen. Tammy Fat Benlay is a broomstick, always injured and hurt. Too slight a frame. That's not going to work, right? You see how I'm showing you all of this finesse stuff? Dallas Wings, you got Lee Yarul. That's good. And but they're also pretty light, like a Wakior, a broomstick. Jessica Shepard can't guard anyone on the interior. She's just a damn good overall, all-around player on offense. And she's a really good rebounder on both ends, but she's just not a good defender. Okay, and she's light too. A Wak, light. Maddie Segrist, 6'2". Alana Smith, always injured, always in pain. Damn good shot blocker, a solid defender, but you can bully her because she's always in pain. She's always grimacing. Something is always hurting with her. So you can bully Alana. Good defender, but you can bully her. Lee Yarul is still trying to figure this thing out, the physicality of the league. He doesn't really give her a lot of minutes unless she's playing tall bigs, unless they're playing tall bigs. And she's more finesse than what she was earlier on. So she liked to shoot a lot of threes as well. So, yeah, but at least they got Lee Yarul, but that's it. Everyone else, I mean, this is a light team. This is a finesse team, okay? And you go to Golden State. You go to Golden State. That's my girl Ashton Pretchell, but they're not going to play her. You don't have Ileana Repair, and she's finesse. She's pregnant. She's finesse. Kia Stokes is all you have, and that's cool. That's okay. I'll give you Kia Stokes, but... yeah, I mean, that's it. They don't have anyone. Kyla Thornton is what, 5'11"? Letitia Mehier is 6'3", but she's skinny. She's a broomstick. Okay, she's feisty. She's feisty. She's fiery. She plays with a lot of passion, but she's a broomstick. And so they don't have anyone. They don't have anyone that scares like on the interior. That's not how they're built. Okay, and you go to LA. And it's the same thing in LA. You got Cameron Brink, a good shot blocker, but she's a broomstick. Okay? And that's what that is. Emma Cannon is only 6'1", 6'2". She's not going to do anything. De'Erica is 6'3", but she's not a great interior defender. Nneka Gumake is long in a 2. She's old. She's like 37, 38. And she's really slight of frame now. She's lost a lot of weight. And she's old now, so you can't really depend on Nneka. She's 6'2", 6'3". That's not going to work. Alyssa Peely is only 5'11", 6 feet. They don't really play her. She's girthy. So this is all perimeter. This is all finesse. They don't have that. And by the way, Monique Okoye-Makani was a good pickup. Okay, all she needs is minutes, and she'll show you what she can do. She can create her own shot like Kelsey Plum. She can shoot off the dribble, quick release. She's a 3-level threat. She can score at all 3 levels. She has adjustment layup. She's a better defender than Kelsey Plum. She's younger than Plum. Okay, so she is the future. So for all of these people saying, Monique, you don't know Monique. Monique is the future. She just needs starter minutes. So I wanted to clear that up. But yeah, this is a totally finesse team right here. And then you go to Minnesota. And Minnesota, another finesse team. Dorka Juhas is a versatile player, just won MVP overseas. Very versatile player, but Dorka Juhas is 6'5", and she doesn't have all of this girth. That's not who she is. She can stretch the floor. She can operate at 3 levels. She got a nice handle. She can facilitate as well. But Dorka Juhas is finesse. Yes, can she block some shots here and there? Yeah, but she's finesse. Okay, Nafisa is light, but Nafisa IQ is through the roof on defense and offense. So her IQ makes up for her deficiencies. Nia Coffey is a physical defender. She's very physical, but you can blow her up. You can blow up Nia Coffey. Chloe Bibby is 6'2", 6'3". You can blow Chloe up. She's a finesse player. That's who Chloe is. She'll get scrappy with you like Nia Coffey, but you can blow Chloe up. Natasha Howard, same thing. You can blow her up. We just saw Aaliyah Boston make her look like an idiot. It just that Aaliyah keep throwing her shoulder violently into these players' sternums, and the league is going to call Aaliyah for that, especially when you're playing the Minnesota Lynx. Okay, so when you're playing teams like that, the referees aren't going to be favorable like that toward. They're not going to be biased as much, and so they'll pretty much call it straight down the line when you play elite teams. And so you saw against Portland and against Seattle, Aaliyah Boston was violently throwing her body into these defenders, pushing off. Caitlin was pushing off extremely hard to get those 3-point shots off, full arm extension push-offs. And they weren't calling anything, but against Minnesota, they called it. Okay, so against the elite teams, they're not really going to be that biased. And so, but Aaliyah was bullying Natasha Howard, like Nalissa Smith did last year in the semifinals. So Natasha is a broomstick, y'all. Now, a young Natasha, you could still bully her, but she was really smart on defense. Right now, Natasha, man, nah, that's a broomstick. Okay, Leah 2 King, broomstick. My girl got girth, Anastasia Kosu. That's my girl, but they don't really play her. Okay, she's 6'3", 6'4", a lot of girth, a physical player. Let me see, she 6'4", 6'3"? But damn, I thought my girl Anastasia was 6'3". This chick 6'1", that's crazy. That's crazy. That chick, I could have sworn she was 6'3". Damn. Anyway, this is a small finesse team, y'all. Small finesse team. But they're really, really good, and they're coached really well, and they have a really great system. And then all Phoenix has, and we're talking about Phoenix, is Natasha Mack, okay? Because Linskins isn't built for the WNBA, not for the Washington Mystics. She's not built for that. She has girth. She's thick, but she's not built for that. She's not built for that, y'all. Especially that type of quickness, that type of foot speed, that type of polish that the Mystics have with their bigs. That's not what she's used to. So although she's girthy, she's not ready for that. And Natasha Mack did win Defensive Player of the Year in Athletes Unlimited. Athletes Unlimited is gone now, and that's only because of the Upshot League, because Nashville will have an Upshot League professional team there next season. So there was no room for them in Nashville. What they have to do, they have to find another place. Maybe go back to Houston. But I don't know if Houston is going to really be interested because they have the Houston Comets. So they have to find a new hub. They have to find another city, maybe take it to Miami, but Miami might be jaded after Unrivaled or because of Unrivaled. So they maybe go to Tampa or something like that. Take it to Tampa. Take it to Tampa, take it to Orlando. Okay, because take it to a Tampa, Orlando, and you'll be just fine. But they had to get out of the way because of the Upshot League is now in Nashville, Tennessee. That team plays next season with the Baltimore team and then another team. Okay, so moving on. All you have is Natasha Mack. That's it. That's all you have. All you have is Natasha Mack. DeWanna Bonner is a broomstick. Okay, that's it. Like, you have no one. Ayayi, I love you. A broomstick. Okay, very smart, high IQ defender, but she's a broomstick. Okay, so he probably should have kept Kalani Brown, right? Maybe they should bring in Tierra McCowan. Okay, like, these things matter. But whatever, man. And obviously, all you got is Megan Gustafson DeLeo. That's all you have. You don't really have anything. Sanaya Fagan is gone, and she was only 6'2". Emily Angsler, that's my girl. That's my G. Great player, great shot blocker. But come on, 6'2", 6'1", 6'2". That's not working. Niadu, 6'3", but she's a broomstick. That's it. I mean, yeah, Sarah Williams, what is she, 6'3"? Let me see. What is Sarah, 6'3"? 6'4". That's my girl. She got a little thick throughout the season, but she started out a broomstick. But that's it. I mean, this is a finesse team, right? This is a finesse team. And then you have this team right here where they have traditional bigs who are versatile, like Dominique, Awa, and then Ezzy. Okay, so this team, and then you got Mackenzie Holmes, who's a 2-level threat, and she can operate her back to the basket extremely well. And you got one of the greatest screeners of all time, Stephanie Dolson. So this team is sort of built for any terrain, any weather condition, any climate. This team right here, outside of Zaya Cook doing stupid things, but and Jay Melbourne can't make a three to save her life. So they have some limitations with efficiency. Okay, they have some limitations with efficiency, but this team was really built for any terrain. They're just not an efficient team. That's why they're in all of these games, because however you want to play, they could play that way. Okay, you want to go big, we got bigs. The problem is that Dominique is skinny as hell, but she's a good shot blocker. She's quick on her feet. She's agile. She has good lateral movement. Our fam is girthy. She's kind of thick, and she's skilled, and she's a high IQ player. She's aggressive. Ezzy has always been a damn good defender. She's been slight of frame, but she's a high IQ defender. And then Stephanie Dolson, she could bang with you. If you're taller than her and big like her, she'll have problems with you. But if you're not strong and physical and girthy like that, Stephanie will bang with you. You understand? And Mackenzie is just an elite back to the basket player. She's going to get you on the interior. This is why they're always in these games, because they're built for any climate. Their problem is efficiency. That's their problem, right? So anyway, this team, so all you really have is Seattle. If we're being honest, all you got is Seattle. Oh, damn, I completely forgot about, I forgot about the Aces. Damn. No. Aces not. Because the Aces are a bunch of terrible defenders. They all suck, except for Asia Wilson on the interior. They all suck. Okay, so yeah, let's not worry about the Aces. But yeah, and Breonna Turner is a good all-around defender, but yeah, that's really all they have. You can bully them. Breezy is a good defender. Asia is a good interior defender for the most part. And everyone else just sucks. Even on the perimeter, they all suck. They had Kennedy Carter and they gave up Kennedy. All of these players suck on defense on the perimeter. They all suck. The only one who's good is Breezy and Asia Wilson. And Asia sucks on the perimeter, by the way. So there's that. Anyway, let's move on. So they're not even built for the Mystics. They're not even built for the Mystics, y'all. Now, if Asia's getting favorable whistles, that's a different situation. But they're not built for the Mystics either. So let me show you the Mystics. Let's go back to the Mystics. Okay, they are running the football, y'all. This isn't about defense, although they're aggressive defenders. This is about offense. This is running the football. This is body blows, y'all. Shakira Austin, Lauren Betts, Kiki Area Finn. Listen, girthy, Cody McMahon, attack. Kassam Prosper, attack. Michaela Ayuede, thick, girthy, attack. And she can bang you on the perimeter. Duga Leach, 3-level threat, facilitate, elite with the high post game and back to the basket game as well. Like, this is literally pick your poison. You are screwed playing this team. And then you lucky they don't put in the mid-range Madam Lucy Olsen, who she's more than just mid-range, but she'll burn you. Like, you're lucky that they're not doing that. And then the high IQ defensive stopper Rory Harmon, supreme high IQ, elite facilitator. Okay, great pass perception, but they don't need her right now. That's why she's not playing. And so, like, that's what this is. This team, and then, like I say, you got your killers. And even Sonia Citron get you. But Cody McMahon, that's their physical running back. That's their Derrick Henry right there. Cody McMahon, that's Derrick Henry, y'all. That's 1,000% Derrick Henry. Okay? And Kassam Prosper and Michaela Ayuede and Sonia get you on 3 levels. And Lauren Betts is polished as hell on 2 levels. And she can hit the face-up J. Shakira Austin can get you at 3 levels. She's polished at 2, but she could burn you if you don't think she can at the 3rd level. And she could take you off the dribble. Okay? Same with Dugalich. And then, like I said, you're bringing in Kiki Area Finn. Like, this is dangerous, y'all. The Washington Mystics are running the football while the rest of the league is passing the football. So if you're built to be a pass team, in football. That means, and you know that the NFL is a passing league. That means you're going to have your defensive personnel to be light, to be finesse, to be coverage, zone, man-to-man, quick, fast, sleight of frame. That's what it is, okay? And then you had teams that said, man, we can exploit this. Look how skinny all of these people are. Let's exploit it. And you just start running the football. Let's get fullbacks. Let's get run blocking tight ends. Let's get some mauling right tackles and right guards. But let's run this damn football. And then these teams start having success running the damn football. And so the NFL said, wait a second, we got to go back to the 1990s, the 1980s. Man, let's get these boys who's 6'5", 250 linebackers. And that's what you see. Man, let's get these 6'7", 265, 270 tight ends. That's what you see. Let's bring back these fullbacks. And like all we need is a game manager. And so that's what you've been seeing the last two drafts, is going back to running the football and stopping the run. Okay? Same thing you see in boxing. Okay? And now you're seeing that in the WNBA. It's going to come to the NBA. It's going to come to the NBA at some point. All of these teams are built for transition, pace and space, three-point shooting. They don't really have any true traditional bigs who will be good post defenders, interior defenders. Why don't we just attack their weakness? Instead of constantly signing and drafting all of these three-point shooters, let's get some bigs and beat them up. And that's what the Mystics are doing. They're beating these teams up because these teams are built to stop the pass. They're built to stop the pass, y'all. Okay? They're not built to stop the run. They're not built to stop the interior. They're built to guard the perimeter. Okay? And like that's what it is. So that's why I said Sidney Johnson, listen, he's laughing, he's running in the locker room, flopping on the floor, having a great time, because just look around the league. There's only a few teams, if you look, like I told you guys, like Chicago is one of them. We can make an argument for Atlanta because Bree Jones is girthy. Angel will get you on the boards. And then you got Medina Okot. We can make an argument for Atlanta. That's fair. Let's make an argument for Atlanta. Chicago, clear. Elizabeth Williams, Camila Cardoso. Azura is skinny as hell, but she's a damn good shot blocker and a high IQ defender. So you got Atlanta, you got Chicago, Connecticut. It's just that BG just will not play. And all you got is a young Reagan Beers. That's not good enough. And then Olivia is skinny as hell. She's a great player, Olivia. But she refuses to gain weight and put on a lot of muscle because she's a model. She models in the off season when she's not playing in China. And even in China, she has all of these modeling things she does in China as well. So that's why she refuses to gain weight, Olivia. She's a model, y'all. So I could say Connecticut. Maybe I should just say Connecticut anyway. Let's just throw Connecticut in there. Okay. Not really, because BG isn't available. Reagan Beers is a rookie. Not to take anything away from rookies, but and then Olivia is a freaking broomstick. She's a broomstick, y'all. I love her, but she's a broomstick. That's all you have. You got Atlanta, Chicago. We can make an argument for Connecticut. Yeah, and that's it. You don't have okay in Seattle. So we got 3-4 teams in the league where they're built for any climate. Meaning, if you want to go traditional basketball, let's go traditional. If you want to go modern, we can go modern. Okay, there's only a few teams in the league that can say that. The rest of these teams are pace and space, read and react, transition, motion, 5 out, 4 out, 1 in. Okay, split screens, ghost screens, flare screens, trail threes. That's it. That's what it is. 3-3-3-3-3. Hurry up and score in transition before they set up their defense. Paint and spray, paint and spray, paint and spray. Okay, like that's what it is. Down screens, pin screens, corner and 3 screens. That's what this is, y'all. Pure and simple. Okay, elevator screens. That's what this is, y'all. That's literally what this is, man. Stagger screens to get threes off. That's all this is. These teams are pass-heavy teams. They're not built to stop the run because that's not what their defense, that's not what their personnel is. Okay? And so you are your system. You are your scheme. The NFL was 100% passing. And when you looked at the defense was built to stop the pass. Rush the quarterback, stop the pass. So the defense was light. And certain teams said, let's take advantage of all that lightness. Let's go physical. Let's go 1995. Let's go 1999. Let's go 1992. Let's go 1989. And that's what happened. And the Seattle Seahawks is waving at everybody with a freaking Lombardi. With a nice little Super Bowl ring. Okay? And all of these other, the NFL is a copycat league. We just saw the Louisville Kings of the UFL win the UFL championship running a damn football. Burning these teams. What's that dude named Wheeler and James Robinson and all of them just running it down their throats. Won a damn UFL championship running that damn football, y'all. Because the UFL, these other teams, they wanted to pass the football. So when you want to be a passing team and you believe the other teams in the UFL are passing teams, your defense is going to be built to stop the pass for coverage. So you're going to be light. And so the Louisville Kings just start running through everyone. You're too light. You're built for coverage. And so the Sidney Johnson is like, that's why they got rid of the old GM. She wanted to go finesse. And Sidney said, we're not going finesse. We're going to have balance. We're built for all terrains. We're built for all climates. We can go old school, traditional, and we can go modern. But what we are going to do is exploit the WNBA because they're built for perimeter. So when you're built for perimeter, your defense is built to stop perimeter and not interior. Let's run this damn football. Let's attack the paint. Let's play inside out and hit them with a play action. That means you got to run a 2-3 zone, okay, period. Because if you don't run a 2-3 zone, or if you're not running a box zone or maybe an X zone, or if you don't understand balance and use a 1-3-1, you're screwed. So we're going to force you into a zone to slow us down on the interior, which is going to leave you open on the perimeter to some degree. And we got burners. We could burn you on the perimeter. Okay, so now these coaches are flummoxed. They're in a conundrum. What do we do? If we play woman to woman, they're going to burn us. If we play a 2-3 zone, that's the perfect zone, but there's gaps in a 2-3 zone, especially on the wing, the left wing and the right wing. Depending on how you move in that basketball. You understand? Because most times in a 2-3 zone, you're shading the center and the left or right wing. So you're just susceptible. Move the basketball, you're going to find gaps on the perimeter in a 2-3 zone. That's why a lot of teams prefer a 1-3-1. Okay. But the true zone, if you want good balance, is a 2-3. Don't ever do a 3-2 because you're going to get murdered on the inside. A 2-3 is more balanced. You're open at the center and at the wing, depending on how you're moving the basketball. Okay, so Washington is saying, go ahead, play a 2-3 zone. I dare you. I dare you play a 2-3 zone. At this point, you keep playing with us, we'll do inverted screens. We'll do inverted screens and burn you, or we'll do some Spain PNRs and really screw you over. Okay, and the Mystics run a 888 offense. So I explain that to you. Okay, a 888 offense, the first 8 seconds, get the quickest basket. Try to score within the first 8 seconds. If that's not there, what they're really looking for is an inside shot or a quick shot, period, in the first 8 seconds. If that's not there, reset, okay, work something else. If that's not there, get the best shot available with the final 8 seconds, okay? And that's what they do. But that's what they were doing earlier in the season. Right now, what they're doing is playing inside out. Earlier in the season, it was 100% 888 offense. Right now, they're playing inside out. Period. They're running the football. And you can't stop them. And they haven't even given you a heavy dose of Lauren Betts. They haven't even given you a heavy dose of Lauren Betts. Okay, so this is a problem. That's why I'm saying, like, I'm looking at, so we can go back here, and I'm looking at Phoenix's schedule, and I know they feel like all we needed is Kelsey Plum because, and it's 5 out. They're running more 5 out this year than they were running last year. Last year, they were primarily 4 out, 1 in. Okay, this year, they're mainly 5 out. They will do 4 out, 1 in, but they run a lot of 5 out. And they were really only doing that because Natasha Mack was injured, but maybe they'll go back to a lot of 4 out, 1 in. But they will have to. So they feel like Kelsey is perfect for that. She's absolutely perfect for it. And then you got to worry about Clea Copper and Alyssa Thomas and Dewana Bonner and everyone else. And so they feel like they could start getting on a nasty little winning streak, which is fair. Dewana Bonner is looking like 27-year-old Dewana Bonner. That chick looked like she went in reverse. Like she started drinking from the fountain of youth or something, whatever they call it. That chick looked like she 27 out there. To me, that looked like 27 Dewana Bonner, right? Not 2027, but she looked like she's 27 years old out there. That's dangerous, okay? But anyway, just looking at this, so when they play the Mystics, that's dangerous because all they got is Natasha Mack and Linskins. So, yeah, do I believe they could beat Connecticut? Yes. Do I believe that it's possible they can beat Atlanta? It's possible. Do I believe it's possible they can beat Chicago? It's possible. So it won't be easy, obviously, but it's possible, okay? Let's say they win all 3 of these games and they face the Mystics. They don't have anyone for the Mystics. That's the whole point. They're not built to stop the Mystics. Now they better hope the Mystics are sucking on defense and inefficient. But if the Mystics aren't trash on defense that day and they're not inefficient, you're done because you don't have anyone to stop the run. You're not built to stop the run. All you have is Natasha Mack. That's it. Okay, and that's just not enough. And then obviously they still got to fight against LA. LA is confident now, and they just beat Portland. And LA really, even though they've been losing, they still look confident. You could see LA turning a corner, and it's looking like Erica Wheeler got that liquor and stuff out of her system finally. So Erica Wheeler finally got that liquor out of her system. So you never know. Yeah, I could see Phoenix beating LA, but I can also see LA beating Phoenix. That's going to be a crazy game, by the way. They might let loose Monica Coa-Makani, and y'all going to see a shorter Sydney Taylor. Okay. Monica Coa-Makani is filthy, y'all. Filthy with it. So it just depends on what happens with that game. But everyone is fighting for the 7th, 8th seed, and Washington is in the way. Will Phoenix beat Portland? Portland is fighting for that 8th seed. Portland isn't going to lay down and die. Okay? So looking at this schedule, Phoenix, this is brutal, Phoenix, this is brutal because Chicago is now turning the corner. There's 2 wins in a row. Chicago turning the corner. And if Skylar gets back, it can really be dangerous. Atlanta already, yeah, okay, let's be fair. Let's say Atlanta has turned the corner, I guess. I don't know if they're going to get clumsy again, but to me, it looks like Atlanta has turned the corner to some degree, maybe. Let's see if they get funky again, clumsy again. That's not easy, y'all. Yeah, I mean, yeah, you could beat Connecticut. It's clear they're going to get Juju Watkins and send her to Houston. That's clear. It may not be so easy if BG is playing, but that's pretty clear. The Mystics, that's dangerous, y'all. That's brutal. That's brutal. Let me tell you something. If the Mystics are solid on defense that day and they're efficient on offense, you're not beating the Mystics, period. Okay? They would have to try to outscore. They would have to try to put up 110 on the Mystics. That would be the only way. Definitely well over 100. The Sparks are fighting tooth and nail. This is a nightclub fight. Y'all. That's what this is. So that's going to be a dangerous game right there. against us. I'm not so sure about the Sparks. I'm just not. Portland is like, who told you that we were going to lay down and die? Who told y'all that? Who told you that we were going to lay down and die? We're not going to, like, no. So Portland is like, we're fighting for that 8th spot too. What you talking about? And then you got Atlanta again. And then you got the Mystics. And you got the Mystics back to back. And then Toronto was like, hello, like Natisha Hyman in a sprinter to Courtney. Hello, what about me? I want some of those Caitlin Clark shoes. Hello. Like that's Toronto saying, hello, look at us. We're fighting for that 8th spot too. We're just not going to lay down and die. And now we got Anissa Monroe, so we're at least going to get 9 rebounds from her. Okay, and so there's that. And then here's Portland again. And now it's like, at this point, we're in fall. We're in fall. We're in the fall month. And things get serious in the fall, okay? That means teams are playing more poised, more under control. The picture is now getting clearer for them, okay? Things are cooling down on Earth. Things are starting to wind down on Earth. The Earth is beginning to rest. It's about to enter its resting phase. So September, okay, the Earth is taking off its clothes. It's about to get into the shower to go to bed. September is when you start to take it. You come home from work. It's late. You done did what you need to do. You about to go to bed, whatever. Listen, take off the clothes. Let's get in the shower. Let's take a bath. That's September. Okay, September, October, boom. And then boom, we going to bed. The winter months, that's bed. That's when the earth rests. That's bedtime. So right now, we're getting into the fall. That means you're unwinding. You taking your shower. You're right. Everything is clear. You're poised. You're focused. And so we're getting into fall, baby. We're getting into the fall, baby. Like it's like winter is coming at this point. Like this is getting serious at this point. You understand? So pay attention to what's going on. Damn, they got the Wings back to back, and then they got to finish with the Aces. Doing that trade was ambitious, capricious. Really, forget ambitious. That was capricious because it potentially could have been a rushed and arbitrary decision. Potentially where it could be a sloppy decision. Like, what are you doing? You can say ambitious and you can say capricious. Oh, yeah. Okay. It was ambitious and it's also capricious. And so like, that's how I see it. So, because I'm looking at this schedule and this is crazy. Like you're battling against a bunch of teams also fighting for that 7th, 8th spot. Okay, it's not like you got Seattle all over the calendar, all over the schedule in Connecticut. No. Now, this is pretty substantial. None of these teams are going to lay down and die, probably except Connecticut. In LA see light at the end of the tunnel. They're not going to lay down and die. Toronto's, they see light. They got Kiki Rice back. And Kiki looked like she was going to end up getting Rookie of the Year when the season first began. So, damn, dog, looking at this now, it's like maybe they shouldn't have made that deal, okay? But they felt like we have to do something because what we have now isn't going to get us where we want to go. We got to do something. We love Monique. Listen, that first round pick, whatever, that second round pick, I understand all that, but we feel that all we need to do is catch the Mystics, and we feel we feel that we're talented enough, and we have enough veterans who've been in the finals, who won championships, where we can beat these teams where they don't have that type of veteran presence. They don't have that veteran championship personnel on their team. And we feel that we can do this on top of having Nate Tibbetts, who just got his team to the finals last season. So all we need is another champion. That would mean we got Clea Copper, champion, right? We got Dewana Bonner, champion. We got Kelsey Plum, 3-time champion. All of that stuff, like that's how they see it. And they feel like if we can do that, like we're good. We're good to go. We're good to go. Like, because you can't, if we look at Toronto, let me look at Toronto real quick. How many champions are on Toronto? First of all, let's go to the standings one more time. Let's go to the standing. Don't look at New York. They all believe New York is going to get in that top 5 or at least finish 6. So let's leave New York alone. That's not real what you're looking at with New York. Okay. So look at LA right there, y'all. LA is right there. You think LA is going to lay down and die because you picked up Kelsey Plum? Come on, stop it, y'all. Stop it. And Lynn Roberts knows she's probably out of here if they don't make the playoffs. So, yeah. They're 6 games out of that 8th spot, but they're not far off from just getting in the 8th spot, catching Washington. So it just depends. But yeah, I mean, so let's look at LA, Chicago, Portland, Toronto, Connecticut. First of all, okay. Well, let's just focus on Toronto, Portland, Chicago, LA, because Connecticut and Seattle, they're finished. Toronto they still have a fighting chance. Okay. So let's go to teams. Let's look at how many champions are on this team. Natasha 1. I'm talking about WNBA. Courtney Vandersloot 2. Azura Stevens 3. So they have 3 champions. Chicago has 3 champions. Okay. Let's go to Toronto. Tammy Fan Bentley has a championship with the Minnesota Lynx. And Niara Sabli. So they got 2 champions on their team. Tammy Fan Bentley and Niara Sabli. That's not enough. That's not more than Phoenix. Okay. Let's go to the Mystics. None. I don't even know why I went here. None. Okay. Where we're at? LA. Ariel 1. De'Erica 2. NECA 3. Yeah, they have 3. I'm not so sure about I need to Google, did Emma Cannon get one earlier on? I need to Google that. But right now they got 3. Okay. NECA, Ariel Atkins, De'Erica Hamby. They have 3. It's still not catching Phoenix, but and then we look at Portland. Megan Gustafson DeLeo, that's 1. Yeah, that's it. Because I don't believe Carly has one. Yeah, that's it. So all they have is just Megan Gustafson. Because Bridget didn't win one. Yeah, so all they have is Megan. That's it. So they feel like at some point, the championship veterans they have on their team is going to get them through. Because if you look at Phoenix, I keep saying Portland, but if you look at Phoenix, DeWanna Bonner, multiple championships. Kalia Copper, champion. Where are we at? Kelsey Plum, 3 championships. And I think Sammy Whitcomb has 1. And then, look at my girl, y'all. They brought back Cara Dunn, USC. That's my girl. Georgia Tech, too. That's my girl right here. That's my girl. I'm so happy that she's back, y'all. Anyway, I was mad when they got rid of her, but that's my girl right there. So, yeah, that's it. And we're not talking about overseas championships, y'all. We're not doing that. We're just talking about WNBA. DeWanna Bonner 1, multiple championships. Kalia Copper, championship. Kelsey Plum, 3 championships, multiple. And I believe Sammy Whitcomb has a championship. And so, and then you're dealing with Alyssa Thomas playing in multiple WNBA finals. So that's pretty serious. And Sammy Whitcomb obviously being in the playoffs a lot. So, yeah, they feel like this is where it is. We have more WNBA champions than you, and we have players with WNBA finals experience. Okay? And we feel that because of this, We're going to edge out teams like Portland, where all they have is Megan Gustafson with a championship. We're going to edge out teams like LA. Well, no, because LA got 3, maybe 4. Yeah, LA might be a problem for them. LA has 3, maybe 4 champions. That could be a problem. Okay. Yeah, that could be a problem. But everyone else, they don't have any playoff experience really. So, yeah. So they feel like, yeah, LA got some champions, but they don't really got playoff experience. And so outside of Kate Martin, really, and then you could say Monique. Yeah, so Monique and Kate Martin. But yeah, they don't really have much playoff experience. So maybe that's an argument they can make. And like I said, the Mystics, clearly, they're just young as hell. And yeah, that's it for the Mystics. You can't say anything about the Mystics. So we're not going to look at New York. Don't look at New York. I believe New York is going to go, the lowest might be 6. So, and then like I said, the only other ones you got to look at is Chicago and Toronto. So if you look at Toronto, all they have is Tammy Fack-Bentley. That was early in her career. And before she essentially quit basketball when she was with the Lynx, fresh out of USC. So that's Tammy. And then Niara Sabli with the New York Liberty. And that's, you know, yeah, Brittany Sykes has playoff experience, but she doesn't have a championship. So yeah, they're pretty done here. They're pretty done. Yeah, Marina Mabrey has playoff experience, but she's not a champion. And so all you really have is Tammy, but that was early on in her career. And then you have Niara Sabli. That's it. And they don't really got a lot of playoff experience on that team. Now, Chicago is a different story. Rachel Banham, playoff experience. Dejanay Carrington, a lot of playoff experience. Natasha Cloud, champion, a lot of playoff experience. Skylar Diggins, a lot of playoff experience. Ezra Stevens, champion, playoff experience. Courtney Vandersloot, multiple championships, tons of playoff experience. Elizabeth Williams, playoff experience. Okay, so Chicago is nice. They're turning a corner. If they can get this win coming up against Phoenix, that's a true streak. They say 3 wins mean that's officially a streak. So, yeah, Chicago has got a lot of playoff experience on their team and multiple champions. Okay, multiple champions and a lot of playoff experience. So, and then their head coach has 3 championships as an assistant under Becky Hammond. Plus he won one with the Toronto Raptors as their assistant as well. So, yeah, that's how you have to look at it, man. So we go back to the standings. They feel that all they needed was Kelsey and they could chase down Washington. They feel that they could hold off LA. They could walk down LA, but I don't know. That's not going to be easy because LA got champions too. So they feel like at some point Washington might fold. But sometimes you get somebody like Mike Tyson and he come in and just start knocking out these old heads. You get Mike Tyson coming in, knocking dudes out when it's like in 90 seconds, knocking dudes out in 50 seconds, man. These dudes been boxing for years. And this young dude coming up from Catskill, New York. Where was Mike Tyson from? Catskill, Brooklyn or something like that. This dude coming in knocking dudes out at 19 years old. So sometimes you get these little young ones and they coming in knocking dudes out, knocking females out. And like, that's what this is. So there's no guarantee that because you're some seasoned boxer that you could beat a 19, 20-year-old. Mike Tyson is like, that's not happening. He was like, that's just not happening. Hell, even Cassius Clay, young Cassius Clay knocking dudes out. That's not happening. Pretty boy Floyd Mayweather out there murdering dudes. That's not happening. So this could be a pretty boy Floyd Mayweather, Mike Tyson, young Cassius Clay type of situation right here, where the Mystics just got these old heads. Like, I'm just being honest. I'm just being, so ain't no guarantee, Phoenix, LA, because you got a lot of champions on the team that you're going to beat Mike Tyson, that you're going to beat Pretty Boy Floyd, right? That you're going to beat Cassius Clay. That may not happen. So I respect the build. I respect it. Let's load up with veteran experience, champions, okay, women with playoff experience with championships. Let's load up real quick. And Kelsey Plum, you talking about averaging 23. That chick, and she trained, she used the CLA methodology. She's been using that for years. That's a hard guard. So we feel like that's really what we need to get us over the top. We feel at some point experience pays off. Inexperience will show. We feel at some point Washington will fall off. At some point, inexperience must show. Washington will fall off. So what happens if you're inexperienced, people? But let's take it back to football. What happens when you're inexperienced? You run the damn football. If you are a young team and you don't necessarily trust your quarterback, but your quarterback is talented, he's just not ready yet, what do? You run the football. You run the football. You build your team to run the football, okay? And that's what it is. Force them to stack the box, play action. Matriculate the football down the field. Kick field goals. Punt when you're supposed to punt. Base 4-3. Base 3-4. 12-man personnel. You understand? Like, keep playing with us and we going to run this. I know we're young. Listen, we're not going to be out here on some Patrick Mahomes BS. On some Josh Allen stuff. No, we're going to run this damn football until our quarterback gets comfortable to start taking all these crazy shots. Right now, we're going to run the football. Period. End of discussion. Field position, all of that. That's what it is. And so the Mystics are saying we're young. We can't be playing these perimeter games like these other. We can play on the perimeter, but we ain't got time for all that. Man, let's beat these teams up. The whole league is weak outside of like 3 teams. The whole league is finesse. They're all a bunch of broomsticks. Man, let's run this damn football. Let's attack the perimeter. The interior. Right? So when you have a young team, you play it close to the vest. You do the smart thing. You run the damn football. You force the defense to stack the box. You hit them with a play action that loosens them up. And now you got them on their heels. They don't know what the hell to do. So now there's even more gaps running. You could play around with RPOs. You could start attacking them to shallow and more intermediate routes. And at this point, they got to find a zone to stop all that. And then there's gaps in the zone. And then your quarterback is also mobile. So now you got to make sure that you end up identifying that and having one of your safeties or linebackers to be a spy. And then that means the tight end gets to really operate even more because one of your safeties or linebackers is tasked with spying on the quarterback because the quarterback is mobile. So now you're really screwed. So now the tight end gets to eat even more. Come on, man. Stop playing with me. So, that's what this is. Man, salute to the Washington Mystics. Salute Sidney Johnson, man. This is pretty serious right here. Hey, Phoenix, I got love for what you did, Phoenix. It's ambitious, but it's capricious. But I got love for it. You just didn't sit back and just say it is what it is. You're trying to fight. I'm not mad at that. I'm not mad at that at all. I'm not mad at LA building for the future while also getting Monica Coa-Makani, who is the future. She's just a shorter Sidney Taylor. That's the God's honest truth. That chick nice. Monique is nice. So, yeah, that's what that is, man. So anyway, let's get to, like I said, the cover photo, Caitlin Clark and Sophie Cunningham. Well, I already told you guys this, okay? And we can go to the Indiana Fever. Let's focus on this person real quick. Let's focus on Sophie. By the way, you're paying Sophie almost $700,000 for 9 points. But I told y'all Sophie will get you 8 to maybe you can get lucky and get 11 from her, but it's probably going to be 8 or 9 points. Okay, so anyway, listen, you knew what you're going to get. You were going to get anything from 8 to 11 points. Okay, I said 8 or 9. She's got 9 points. That's what you paid over $600 $100,000 for, 8 or 9 points. I just wanted, yes, she would have games where she would be hot, but she'll also have games where she won't be. And she'll get exposed on defense and all of these other things. And because Sophie didn't take her craft seriously in the offseason, ever since she got comfortable in Phoenix, she stopped taking her craft seriously. This is why people were laughing at her this offseason when she was trying to learn how to do certain dribbles that you learn at high school. Okay, and it was pretty bad. It was embarrassing. Her left hand's still funky. She don't have a strong left hand. She always calling for drag screens because she don't have handles tight enough to get her out of sticky situations. So she calling for drag screens all the time. Her left hand really funky, y'all. So Sophie is limited. Now, what I will say, Sophie has a better layup package than Caitlin. Sophie is sneaky athletic in terms of vertical leap. And she got some good hang time. Sophie got good hang time. Sophie has a better layup package than Caitlin. And Sophie is sneaky athletic. I'm just speaking about vertical leap and hang time. But Sophie's hips are tight for basketball. And Sophie's lateral movement isn't good. Now, Sophie makes up for it with heart, being fierce, tough, okay, tenacious, selling out, going all out, blowing everything up. That's why I said she's a good 50-50 player. We haven't seen her diving on the floor this season as much as I would like to see, but normally Sophie is a pretty damn good 50-50 player. So that's the situation where her handle limits her. That's why she'll always be like 8 to maybe 11 points or 8 or 9 points because her handles gives her limitations. Okay, and that's the problem. So she's catch and shoot. She can come off screens, trail threes, transition threes, kick out threes. That's Sophie Cunningham. Off the dribble, creating something from nothing, hang dribble, hezzy, punch, snatchbacks, BTLs, BTBs, tween. That's not Sophie. That's not Sophie. And so that's why she's 8 or 9, y'all, because her handle is holding her back. She's not confident with her ball handling ability, right? So that's just the basketball part of Sophie. Sophie realizes that she's caused a cesspool. She's a part of filling up this cesspool. She's a part of the cesspool. And it's because Sophie is a person that craves attention. Even as a little girl, she wanted all of the attention. She said it. She said that her mother and her grandparents didn't know what to do with her. So they put her in sports. They put her in taekwondo, karate, whatever. And it still wasn't enough. Sophie is just this big ball of fire. And and that's what it is. Sophie craves attention. She craves validation. And to get it, Sophie will clout chase. She will clout chase. She will stir things up and all of that. And so that's what you're witnessing. That's what you're seeing. You're seeing something that's reckless, something that's inconsiderate, sometimes insensitive. And that's what you're getting from her. And she's also someone who has a lot of pride. She's a prideful person. And she's also an egotistical person at times. So when you're dealing with someone who craves attention and someone who is extremely prideful and at times egotistical, it could lead to situations like this where you're having protesters and you never know what's going to happen at one of these rallies. You just never know, right? Anything could happen, and people are becoming tribal. There's more division. There's a split. All sorts of things are happening. Then there could be some sort of jealousy within the team with certain players feeling like you're getting more of the spotlight than they're getting. And so we just saw Caitlin Clark drag Sophie in front of the cameras so they could snap pics of her when Sophie was in street clothes, bummy, laundry day street clothes. She wasn't ready for that. She didn't have her makeup on. And Caitlyn is in Prada from head to toe. Her hair is pressed, shades are on. And she was like, this is what Sophie looks like when she doesn't have makeup, and dragged Sophie in front of the cameras. And Sophie is just going along with it. But I told you this would happen. Once Sophie started to, in terms of the gait, in terms of the pace, once she started to blow by Caitlin Clark with popularity, you were going to see the real Sophie and the real Caitlin. And jealousy is at play. Even innocent ones like Paige Becker said she began to feel jealous when she saw what Caitlin Clark was doing, because Paige Becker's was the girl with all the views. And Caitlyn came on and blew past Paige Becker's, and Paige Becker's was kind of jealous and envious. Well, Caitlin Clark is a human being as well. So what I saw from Caitlyn, which I saw it, I knew this was going to happen. It looks innocent and friendly. Sophie understands that this dynamic between the two. And you dragged her in front of those cameras where Sophie is in lingerie day clothes and her makeup isn't on. Now, it looks innocent, but underneath it all, that's jealousy. That's you hating on Sophie. Now, y'all didn't believe me when I told y'all Erica Wheeler was doing that to Caitlin Clark. And then it turned out to be true. Erica Wheeler was clowning Caitlin, and Caitlin didn't know it. Erica was trying to bully Caitlyn, and Caitlyn didn't know it because she's innocent, right? A deer in the headlights, bright-eyed, bushy-tailed, new to the whole system. That's what it was, okay? Totally naive, gullible, all of that. And I made several videos warning y'all, and it turned out to be true. She was using Caitlyn, and she was trying to bully Caitlyn. And that's what that was, y'all. But to y'all, it was innocent because you was like, Caitlyn is in the league. Yay, we love her new teammates. I was like, wait a second. I know Erica Wheeler. I need y'all to be careful. And I start pointing out the signs. She telling Caitlyn to shut up. Oh, she was just playing with Caitlyn. No, she wasn't. And that's how it starts. Okay. So I'm telling you what I noticed. That it looks innocent, y'all. It did. It looked innocent, but it wasn't innocent. This is when we're starting to see the jealousy show. This chick, Sophie, with 9 points a game, is arguably more popular than Caitlin Clark. Now, we have to see that when Caitlin isn't playing in terms of the ratings. Let's say, I think Caitlin should probably, say, hey, ouch, my back is hurting. I'm going to sit out 2 games. We can afford me sitting out 2 games. Let Sophie play. Obviously, in those 2 games, let me see what the ratings look like. That's if the ratings are still well over 1 million and potentially 2 million, Caitlyn is in trouble. Caitlyn is in trouble. That means Sophie has blown past her. She's blown past her. And I told y'all this was going to happen. Once Sophie blew past Caitlin Clark, you were going to see the real Sophie, and you were going to see Caitlyn come out and do things you just don't recognize. Who is this? Okay. And she's going to make you a bit uncomfortable, right? And so, like, that's essentially what that is. These are 2 women who helped create this cesspool. Caitlyn throwing stones, hiding her hands. Caitlyn not wanting to speak out on issues because she wants to play both sides to protect her brand and her image, while people can get hurt on either side. Okay, that's not to say a transgender person won't show up at a rally and kill someone who is against trans men playing in women's sports. That could happen. Caitlyn could put a lot of this to bed right now. Okay, so don't listen to some of these people trying to protect her. No, you have to say something. We've seen transgender people flip and kill people. Okay, the rallies always start off as innocent. Something could happen. You should have said something. Whether you was for Sophie or against Sophie, you should have said something. Okay, but Caitlyn likes to play both sides to protect her brand. She wants to sell a lot of shoes, y'all. She wants to sell a lot of merchandise, and she wants 2K to sell a lot of deluxe edition copies. And she's not going to say a damn thing. That's the way she was her rookie year. She wouldn't say anything, and her arm was finally twisted, and she finally had to come out and say, I don't want people to use my name and image for certain agendas. And then we never heard from her again. This year, her arm was twisted after the whole Wnba, Alyssa Thomas thing. 9 days later, she says something after it was already out of control. And then she made it about her. Somehow she made it about her, about being a 24-year-old navigating a difficult world. Okay. And then she tried to finesse the referees. So there was that. After her arm was twisted after 9 days. And so now we get this. We get trans potentially playing in women's sports, all of these other things. And Fox News and Ben Shapiro and Matt Walsh and you name it, everyone is talking about it. Megyn Kelly, it's all over the place. All over the place. Sophie now has more followers than she had last week. Okay? So Sophie is becoming increasingly more popular than Caitlin Clark. Now, I told you how white people feel. When they see these two women, one of them is a 1,000% pure white woman. That's Sophie Cunningham. The other one is part Italian. Caitlin Clark's mother is Italian. Full stop. Okay? Full stop. So one of these women is part Italian and the other woman is 100% white. And this blonde-haired, blue-eyed white woman from Missouri is more bold and brave and fearless and more fierce than the woman who's part Italian. And then they see that Sophie is willing to risk it all. And this woman who's part Italian is willing to play both sides. And then that explains why you drug her in front of the cameras with a lingerie day clothes on. And made it seem like, so you were in Prada from head to toe. Your hair is pressed beautifully. Your black shades are on. Sophie literally looks like she's about to go do 3 loads of laundry. And you drug her to get those shots taken of her in lingerie day clothes. Now, it looks innocent, but it looked innocent when Erica Wheeler was bullying Caitlin Clark. And y'all didn't see it. I'm like, I know this chick, y'all. Now y'all see the true Erica Wheeler clowning everyone. If you make $50,000, $60,000 a year, she's clowning you, calling you a brokey. If you make $50,000, $60,000 a year, you a brokey. Don't say nothing to me. Just sit on your couch and eat potato chips. Then I tell y'all about the real Erica Wheeler, but y'all didn't want to hear it because Caitlin was new to the league and you wanted everything to be this beautiful bubble, and it's not what it was. So I'm telling you, man. Caitlin is a human being, y'all. Human beings, even God said, I'm a jealous God. That's one of the 10 commandments. He said, you should have no other idols before me. I, the Lord your God, am a jealous God. So if God is jealous, what you think, you're better than God, that you can't be jealous? Caitlin is a human being. She is going to become envious and jealous, and she won't know how to control it. We saw the first sign of it. You pulled Sophie in front of those cameras when Sophie had on laundromat clothes. Sophie was getting ready to do 3 to 4 loads of laundry while you're dressed in Prada from head to toe or designer from head to toe. Pay attention, people. So anyway, yeah, that's why things are a mess. We had one woman who was always craved attention, even as a little girl. I'm not making this up. Sophie said this. Her parents and them couldn't control her. She wanted attention, a big ball of fire wrapped in this little girl's body, a body full of lightning bolts needing to get out. So they threw her in taekwondo and sports and everything else. What I will say about Sophie is that, and I thought this was a great comment I saw on Twitter. Someone put on Twitter that, wait a second, Sophie, you played football. You were a girl participating in boys football in high school as their kicker. So how does that work? How can you say a man who has transition into being a woman can't play in a woman's sport, but it's okay for women to play in a man's sport, in men's sport? How does that work? Or in boys' sports? Because we see girls do this all of the time. We see girls, they end up being on certain college football teams as kickers or punters, or I think we had another white chick. I was following her on one of my old IG accounts. I can't remember. She was playing safety. So we've seen women play men's sports, right? We've seen Ann Myers Drysdale play in professional men's basketball, right? We've seen Nancy Lieberman get drafted into the NBA, and she wasn't the first one, right? So like, even though she didn't play, but I'm just saying, like, we've seen these things where women crossed over. So women can cross over, but men can't cross over. Okay. Now, I don't want men playing in the WNBA at all. I don't care if you transition, you started the process when you were 6 years old. I don't care. I don't want that. I don't mind if you're Layshia Clarendon, though. Layshia is a biological woman who transitioned to being a man, right? And that's the same, but she's really a woman. So I don't mind, and she had top surgery, got her breast chopped off. I don't mind that. Okay. You are really, truly a female. You just want to be a man. Play in the WNBA because you're really a woman anyway. You understand? So that don't matter to me, but a biological male transitioning to being a female and playing in women's and girls sports, I don't agree with that. And that's really all Caitlyn had to say. All Caitlyn had to say was that I don't mind if you transition to being a man, but you're really a woman. But I don't think we should have biological males who transition to being a female to play in our league or in girls sports or women's sports. I don't agree with that. And that's fair, man. It's America. You have freedom of speech. Okay? And so, yeah, but Caitlyn is scared. Why? Because Caitlyn don't want to chase away the liberals, the progressives, the Democrats, and she doesn't want to chase away the conservatives, the Republicans, MAGA. She's scared. That's the way she was her rookie year. She will play both sides until you twist her arm and force her to say something more pointed. Period. That's Caitlyn, man. That's the way she's always, at least since she got in this league. Okay, so that's what that is. But in the meantime, they're watching the WNBA drown in this cesspool. Because guess who's being attacked? Guess what's being attacked? The WNBA. Innocent players in the WNBA in terms of them not being a part of this. This isn't their fault, and they're being attacked. They're being mischaracterized. They're being labeled. Narratives are flying left and right. Okay? And these women are just hooping, man. They're just hooping. And so now you thrown them into this cesspool. And that's why I did the cover photo and thumbnail that way. The WNBA logo is drowning in a cesspool stirred up by Sophie Cunningham and Caitlin Clark. And now Cunningham is more popular than Caitlin. So you got the two C's. You got a CC now. Caitlin Cunningham, Clark Cunningham. That's the CC. Who would have thought it would have turned out that way? The new CC is Cunningham Clark or Clark Cunningham. And now Cunningham is more popular than Clark. Because Cunningham will at least stand on something and Caitlin Clark wants to sit on the fence. There it is. And other people get hurt. The WNBA gets hurt. Kathy Engelberg gets hurt. The players get hurt. And the innocent people get hurt, right? You got the owner. She's pulled into this crap. The owner of Seattle Storm, and she's pissed off at these teenage girls. If this never happened, she wouldn't be suspended for 5 games. So we're dealing with that now. You got people yelling at each other at these games. Sophie is getting booed left and right. Rallies are outside and they start off innocent and then it turns into something violent. Okay? So we got Sophie stirring up the cesspool, Caitlin Clark throwing stones, hiding her hand, contradicting herself, being a hypocrite at times. Sometimes, listen, like, it's bad. It won't say anything until her arm is twisted. And the WNBA is the one drowning in a cesspool. And it's just not fair. It's just not fair, you guys. But now Clark is now jealous of Cunningham. She's gonna pretend that she's not, but you're gonna notice little things. Just trust me on this. You're gonna notice little things. She's now beginning to show some jealousy towards Kelsey Mitchell, because it's clear Kelsey Mitchell is gonna win MVP if they don't give it to Asia. It's not gonna be Caitlin. It's gonna either be Asia, Kelsey, or Olivia Miles. That's clear. Why? Because Kelsey Mitchell helped carry the team and was dominating when Caitlin Clark was getting minute restrictions and when she was missing games. They're undefeated without Caitlin. 4-0, and Kelsey looked damn good. And Kelsey was facilitating and playing defense in those 4 wins without Caitlin. She was also dominating when Caitlin was on minute restrictions. Then Kelsey showed you her MVP level last season without Caitlin Clark. So it is clear that Kelsey Mitchell is one of the front runners for MVP next to Asia and next to Olivia Miles. That's clear. And Caitlin sees this because Kelsey just put up 37 on elite efficiency. And she has some pretty good passes too. So against a top tier team, against the best team in the league in terms of standings, Kelsey Mitchell was the best player on the court as it relates to just offense. Now, she has some good quality moments on defense, but as it just relates to offense, Kelsey Mitchell was clearly the best player on the court, and then Olivia Miles, and then Courtney Williams. That's what happened. That's what we saw. So Caitlin is looking at that stat sheet. They ask her a question about all of this trans stuff. Kelsey slides the paper over a little bit. And Caitlin was like, we need to just focus on winning games. And then hit the paper with the back of her hand. And yeah, that was a message to Kelsey. Like, people, listen, recognize the signs, y'all. Recognize the signs. It starts off small and then it just becomes big. Okay? So recognize the signs. She knows that Kelsey is going to get MVP if Asia or Olivia doesn't get it. And this was supposed to be the season she was supposed to get MVP, lead the league in scoring and assists, all of that. It didn't work out. So far, it hasn't worked out. Kelsey Mitchell is clearly going to get MVP, y'all. That's clear. That's clear. If they don't sell out and give it to Asia again. I think the 2 MVPs are Kelsey and Olivia Miles. It's not even close. So she's worried about Sophie. She's looking over her shoulder and she sees Kelsey, and Caitlin is freaking out, y'all. 2 women are now becoming more popular than she is. Except Kelsey, in terms of social media followings, no. Okay? But fans, analysts, everyone else looking at this, they're clearly saying Kelsey is the best player. She should get MVP. And Caitlin didn't see that coming, y'all. And now she's looking at Sophie from behind. Like, she's looking at Sophie's back. Sophie is out. She's outpaced Caitlin. Caitlin is now looking at Sophie's back. And she didn't see that coming either. And so you start freaking out. You start freaking out. Okay. And so that's what that is. But then there's this other little piece before I end the video. There's this other little piece that people aren't paying attention to. And I made a live stream, 4 or 5 days ago about it. The Aaliyah Boston situation. Aaliyah Boston's like, well, what about me? What about me? I was the number 1 overall pick. And here's Sophie is now more popular than Aaliyah. Caitlin is clearly more popular than Aaliyah. And Kelsey is now the front runner for MVP in the league next to Asia and Olivia. Well, what about me? And then that explains why Aaliyah Boston faked an injury for the second time to try to show that you need her. And the Fever looked more elite without Aaliyah Boston, at least on offense. The team just looks explosive without Aaliyah Boston on offense. That's clear. So she was like, damn. That didn't have the desired effect I was looking for. And so then in this game, Caitlin gives her a perfect pass for a wide open three, center, down the middle. And she says, you know what, Caitlin? I think I want to freaking drive to the basket. Now, Caitlin has to fix her body language. She showed up Aaliyah Boston with poor body language after Aaliyah did that. But once again, she's human. So she's going to make those mistakes. That's also a part of leadership, not showing up your teammates with your body language. Okay, not putting yourself in situations where the locker room can lose, the locker room morale can be low, and then players become disgruntled. And next thing you know, we're dealing with mutiny. So we don't want that. Friendly fire. We don't want that. But that's also a part of being a leader, right? Being poised and measured and buttoned up. Yeah, she did something stupid, but your body language shouldn't look like that. It shouldn't look like that. And so like that's the problem. But yeah, so Aaliyah Boston is trying to do her own thing, y'all. Because Aaliyah is human. She's human. What do you think her and Candace Parker are having these conversations when they're not doing a podcast? AB, I just don't want you to forget that you are that girl. You are Aaliyah Boston. You're AB. And sometimes, and even Don Staley said this about Aaliyah Boston. Don Staley said sometimes she has to remind Aaliyah Boston of who she is. Like, you are AB, you're Aaliyah. And so if you think that Candace Parker hasn't had that type of conversation with Aaliyah Boston, I mean, come on, y'all. And what we've noticed is that 2 games, I told y'all Aaliyah did this, y'all. Aaliyah faked 2 injuries. And if you look at the camera when it pans to Aaliyah looks like every time she's eating humble pie. And she don't like the humble pie. This chick, Aaliyah Boston, thought without her that the Fever would crumble. And the Fever look more dynamic without Aaliyah Boston on offense. They look unstoppable without Aaliyah Boston on offense, y'all. So it didn't have the effect she thought. Like, without Caitlin, the Fever are blowing teams out and their defense is top 5. Without Caitlin, they're just dominating. Okay? So she was like, damn, what would happen if the Fever lost me? And the Fever just look even better without you, except on defense, but they just look better without you. And so listen, I told y'all she faked the injury, y'all. She was ready to go in the second half. She just didn't want to play. She wanted to see how the Fever would look. The Fever would look like trash, and they just look so much better. So what happened the very next day? This chick is all in practice, running up and down the court, shooting threes, everything. I'm laughing looking at Twitter. I'm laughing looking at the freaking vid of her running up and down the court in practice. I'm just laughing. I said I knew she was faking it. And then here comes this game. No limp. No hitch. No dragging. No grimacing. Come on, y'all. And then she tried to go rogue. She tried to go rogue against Minnesota. And it blew up in her face and it hurt the team. So the Fever right now is freaking imploding. We're witnessing mutiny. And it's really coming from 2 players. It's coming from Caitlin and it's coming from Aaliyah. But Sophie is also, bringing all of this. You don't ever want to be a distraction for your team. And so Sophie has created situations where she's a distraction. She's an attraction and a distraction. Okay. So there's that. Oh, thank you, my father, for giving me that. She's an attraction, okay, and a distraction. So now, we're dealing with an oxymoron. And sometimes she acts like she's on oxys and a moron. So anyway, but there's that. But yeah, I just wanted to highlight that. That's what it is. So what I would say to Sophie, if you really wanted to win a championship with the Fever this season, turn down the volume. Talk about this in the off season. Pick it up in the off season, figure it out, but you have to be focused on the championship. I would turn down the volume. I'm not going to talk about this anymore. At this point, you're putting yourself above the team. You're making this about everything except basketball. And when you're in the season, you'll lose the war. You'll lose battles in military combat if you're focused on these other things, okay, instead of the battle. And you're at war. The WNBA season is a war. It's a war, Sophie. You can't be thinking about home, right? When you're on the battlefield, you can't think about home. And so Sophie is distracting herself. She's a distraction to the team, okay? And none of this has anything to do with basketball, with the season. You're at war. Focus on hoops. Focus on your opponent. Do this stuff in the off season, okay? So that's what I would say to her. And then I would tell Sophie, finally, you have to get some handles. Your dribble package is trash. Your left hand is trash. Your left hand is so trash, Sophie. You got to get that left hand figured out, and you need a dribble package, or you're going to keep being an 8 or 9 point per game player. Yes, there'll be these games where you'll hit 3 or 4 or 5 threes, but you're an 8 or 9 points per game player, and that's really because your handles are trash. They're not impressive. So I would say in the offseason, work on your ball handling and your shot creation off the dribble. So you can pick that from 8 or 9 to 13 points per game next season, or 14. So that's my deal with Sophie. Okay. And then I would tell Sophie to work out with a defensive back coach. Work out with a defensive back coach, because that's going to help you with lateral movement, with shuffling, backpedaling, hip movement, all of those things like that. So I would say work out with a defensive backs coach. Get your left hand right. Get that dribble package nice. And then you're good to go. And during the season, you're at war, Sophie. You're in Iran right now, boots on the ground. You're in Iran, baby. This is war. You can't be thinking about Missouri when you're in Iran right now. This war, Sophie. This is war. So you're at war right now, Sophie. You are at war. There's different battles along the way before the Fever win the ultimate war. Okay? You can't be thinking about transgender, trans community, trans infiltrating girls and women's sports. You got to be thinking about your next opponent. You got to be thinking about basketball, the WNBA season. End of. Caitlin Clark, you lack foresight. You didn't see this coming. And you gotta mature. Caitlin, mature. Jesus. And so now Sophie is past you right now, and it's freaking you out. Aaliyah Boston is like, what about me? You're looking at Kelsey, and it's clear she might get MVP. That's freaking you out. Olivia Miles is looking like, I mean, come on, like, this is crazy. So Caitlin is just, and listen, I got to be honest, I was laughing against Minnesota when they played Minnesota, because I saw Caitlin freak out and start shooting some threes she shouldn't have shot. And I said, look at Caitlin, man. That chick got to grow up, man. You got to grow up. I mean, this chick was like, oh yeah, like you're exposing me when I'm on defense. Watch this, baby. And she just shot some ill-advised, untimely, early in the shot clock three and airballed it and all of this stuff. And I'm just like, Caitlin, you gotta grow up. You have to grow up, Caitlin. Right? This isn't the Iowa attack. This isn't the Iowa Hawkeyes. This isn't the Big Ten. You're not playing UNI. You're not playing Northwestern, even though UNI isn't in the Big Ten. I'm just saying, non-conference schedule. You're not playing these teams. Okay? The Big Ten has some talented players, but it wasn't nothing like the SEC. Cut it out. So, because you're not in the Big Ten, and your out-of-conference game isn't against UNI, and no disrespect to UNI, I'm just saying, and you're not playing Nebraska, and you're not playing Wisconsin, okay, or you're not playing the Purdue Boilermakers. This isn't the Purdue Boilermakers, right? You, at some point, you can't, see, when you played those teams, Caitlin, you could freak out and say, watch this, and start making some logos. And just everything just settles. That's not happening in the WNBA. Now, yeah, you had a nice stretch against some trash teams and you were making your threes, which was great. But against the team that counts the most, Minnesota, because they're number one, when things don't go your way on defense and you see that Olivia and Courtney Williams and Kelsey Mitchell are outshining you, and you're saying, oh yeah, watch this. Let me get all of these Fever fans who traveled to Minnesota, watch this. I'm going to change the tone, the tide. Watch this. Check this logo out. And then you airball it. You brick it. Because you're playing these little immature games, Caitlin. These juvenile games. You got to grow up. On the basketball court, you got to grow up. You just do. You have to grow up. And like, that's the reality of it. So, and even just the jealousy part about it is, ladies and gentlemen, she's jealous of Sophie. Period. Full end of, y'all. She is. I told y'all about Erica Wheeler. You didn't believe me. And now people believe me. It's in your face. I'm telling you what's going on with her and Sophie. She's staring at the back of Sophie's blonde hair. Sophie has passed her, y'all. Period. And she's jealous. Because if God can get jealous, humans can get jealous too, and Caitlin isn't greater than God. She's jealous. She's looking at Kelsey Mitchell. There's a little bit of envy creeping up, a little bit of jealousy starting to creep up. It's what it is. And Olivia Miles might do something where Caitlin can't recover from that. If Olivia Miles wins Rookie of the Year and MVP, Caitlin is in trouble. Caitlin is in trouble because everyone got to see this woman look much more entertaining than Caitlin. She just did. She showed Caitlin up. She showed that Caitlin layup package is prehistoric compared to her layup package. She showed Caitlin's slashing package is prehistoric compared to Olivia's slashing package. She showed that Caitlin Clark's ball handling package is back in the frickin' is like 1996 compared to Olivia Miles. Olivia showed all of that. She showed all of it, y'all. And she took her foot off the gas in the second half to some degree. Okay, so, and obviously the Fever started defending her a little, paying more attention to her, but she still was like, okay, you're going to pay attention to me? I'll just sit back and let my teammates carry everything else. And then I'll get mine a little bit later, right? That's a high IQ player. That's a selfless player. That's a player that gets it. That player is mastering the game mentally and physically. Okay, you want to press me and give me all of this attention? I'm number one on the scouting report, I see. Go ahead, Courtney. Go ahead, Nafisa. Go, do what y'all do. Because eventually it's going to come back to me anyway. And that's what happened. Caitlin won't ever be able to recover from this if Olivia Miles pulls a Candace Parker and wins Rookie of the Year and MVP in the same season. Caitlyn won't ever be able to recover from this, y'all. Ever. That's the truth. So anyway, that's what I had to say about it, man. I gotta charge this freaking phone, man. I gotta charge this phone.
Neighbors know this shit get out of hand, but they smile, 'cause you've been so long without a man. And it won't be long till you're out of bands. The only thing you really need is a husband. The only thing you really need is a husband. The only thought you ever need is I trust him. All your dreams, all your goals, it's promised with this ring I have in my hands. The main thing a nigga got is these plans. Got a plan for us, got a plan to grow, got a plan for homes, got a plan for bad times, got a plan for good times, got a plan for hood times, got a plan for hood crimes, got a plan for trust, got a plan for lust, got a plan for Beverly Hills. You know that's where they at. You know that's where they at. Beverly Hills. You know that's where they at. I don't really wanna go back to that. If I do, I know I'm going back to back. Breaking backs to backs. Imagine that, that's so hazardous, so I handle that. All you really need is a husband. Show you loving. Let him touch you, let him rub you, let him hug you, let him thug you, let him hold you down. All you need is a husband who gon' touch you, who gon' rub you, who gon' hug you, who gon' kiss you, who gon' miss you with no issue, with no issue, and no issue.